Hey everyone, this is Charlie the Plug, your host of the Detroit Metro Plug podcast, powered by Empower You Ventures. Don't forget to subscribe so you too can be a part of the biggest empowerment network on YouTube and Facebook. We bring you weekly interviews of Detroit difference makers in the area of entrepreneurship, community involvement, also reaction to business news and community news. This does not happen without your support. Thank you. Hey, we are live with a special episode of the Detroit Metro Plug podcast. I'm Charles McKay, aka Charlie the Plug, and each week we bring you interviews of what we call Detroit difference makers in the area of entrepreneurship and community involvement. This is a special episode. We're going to do a four-part series once a month. I got this dynamic power couple here. I'm going to formally introduce them to our audience, friends of the podcast. We had Georgea Cole. She was a featured episode before. So, friends of the podcast, I'm excited for the world to be exposed to this couple, and they're over 30 years of ministry as well as marriage, and they're going to talk about just not just surviving and dating and marriage, but thriving. And I'm going to do a formal introduction, but I just want to give time for people to come on. Happy Wednesday to everyone. Another episode. I'm going to put some air some applause. So if you guys are joining us live, we're going to try to, if you have questions for our guests or you want to make a comment, we will try to recognize comments and questions live in the chat. So happy Monday again. Hopefully everybody's doing well. I know we're approaching the holiday seasons and people are excited, especially children. But some people are facing challenges, may have lost a loved one recently, or whether it's a few years, and you may have, and sometimes the holidays can trigger things, missing of a loved one or a friend or a family member. So make sure you check in with people. So I just want to make sure you're doing good and make sure you get help you need if you're facing challenges. So just want to encourage you to do that. So welcome to our special series on dating and marriage. The reason why I wanted to do this topic, as many of you may know, this is a popular topic online on YouTube, Facebook. You may see TikTok reels, people who have whole podcasts on relationships, marriage, and dating. And it appears to be some tension between men and women in dating, in marriage. So you have these different opinions of high value, high functioning, low functioning. You have the red pill community. You have the feminist community. You have 50-50. What do you bring to the table? All that stuff. But I brought a couple here who's going to share wisdom, over 30 years of marriage and ministry. And I think they have a perspective that's going to be helpful for us to learn. And I hope you'll be encouraged. So if you find value in what we're doing, please like, share, subscribe. If you have questions or comments, please put it live in the chat. So I want to just do a formal introduction. They're sitting to my left, maybe you're right on the screen. So our guests for this topic on a series of dating and marriage, we're going to have them on once a month on a Wednesday, and it's going to be 4 parts. They are pastors, keynote speakers, community leaders, servant leaders, outreach specialists, over 30 years of ministry and marriage. And we're excited about what they have to share. I'm a person that try to get wisdom from people who are seasoned in life and can impart things, because they're not just talking about theory or what you should do based upon what they read. They've experienced this. And so I think we're in for a treat. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the special podcast series, Eugene and Georgea Cole. So for our audience, just tell us a little bit about yourself and just kind of what you do, and then we'll go into kind of the backstory of how you guys met.
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you so much, Charlie the Plug.
Yes.
It is such an honor to be back here in your studios, and we're loving your space. And I'm Georgia Cole.
And I'm Eugene Cole.
And we're the Coles. So, just we have been married, like you said, for almost 30 years and in ministry for over 30. So we met in a very interesting way. It wasn't a typical meeting. And I think I probably tell the story better, but I definitely want to leave space for
You tell it.
For Mr. Tall, Dark, and Handsome over here. And when I say tall, he is tall. My tall drink of water.
She likes to tell the story. That's like when it comes to that question, that's like her turn, right? Tell the story.
Okay, so let me tell the story. I'm going to tell the story. Well, it was a day that was a dusk to dawn day, and I was driving home from work, and I really didn't want to drive to the gas station. I hate pumping gas. So I said to myself, I'm not getting gas today. And before I knew it, I was sitting in the gas station. And this is when we lived out in Illinois, and I was in the gas station. I said, okay, I'm going to get the gas. And I went in to get the gas. And I'm standing in there paying for the gas, talking to the attendant that I knew. And someone walks in from the door on the back. It was an Amico.
Mm-hmm.
So they walk in from behind me, but I could tell it was a tall person. And he said, excuse me, do you know where Gurney Mills is? And we both, the attendant and I said, it's the mall. And we were like, up there. And he's like, well, how far is it? We were like, it's a ways. He's like, I've been walking for over 10 miles. And 5 people told me it's right up there so far. And now 10 miles later, here I am. So really, how far is it? We were like, well, you probably got about another 2-3 miles to go. He's like, okay. I was like, I'll give you a ride. Before I knew it, I offered him a ride. I never give men a ride, especially strangers.
Wow.
And so back then, I had, I had the little black sports car was parked out there.
Okay.
And so he said, are you sure? I had not looked back. I said, yeah. He said, are you sure? By that time, I'm thinking, wait a minute, am I sure? So then I looked back, and he was real tall. I'm real short. So he said, yeah. I said, okay. He said, well, let me pump your gas. I go out to the car. By this time, it's getting dark. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking, oh my God, why did I ask him to give him a ride? He says, he gets in the car. I say, okay, before I pull off, because the attendant knows me. The attendant's looking at me like, are you sure? Yeah. And I'm thinking, I got my script together, what I'm going to say to this guy when he gets in the car after he pumps the gas. So he gets in the car, but before I can get into my spiel and say my little script, he gets in there and he's like just jumps on my case and starts rebuking me. Are you crazy? What are you doing? You're just giving a perfect stranger a ride, and you don't know me from Adam. I could be some mad serial killer. And I'm looking at him. I was like, okay, you can get out my car now. And he goes, never mind all that. Just drive. As you can see, I'm thinking, well, no, what are you doing out here? And then he had this little folder and stuff. He starts telling me about a crusade that they were on to help kids in Cabrini Green. And they were out there and they were doing outreach.
Okay.
So that's how we met that day.
That's how we met.
That's the start, y'all.
So I'll pick it up from there.
Yes.
So that's how we met. I sold her on the idea of a crusade. I told her she needed to be involved.
All right.
Something happened. We We fell in love. We fell in love.
On that day?
Happened. Not on that day, but
Okay.
something that day began our relationship. You know, and from that day to the next 6 months, I think within the next 6 months, we were planning a marriage.
Yeah.
6 months?
Yeah.
6 months later, we were planning a
You
marriage.
met at the gas station first time.
Yeah. And within the
Yeah.
following year, we were married.
Yeah.
Wow. How did you know that she was the one? You know, everybody has different methods and
So
they have a list and things they check
I
off.
have a good friend of mine. He's an evangelist. And I remember him telling me, because my goal was I was never going to get married.
Okay.
I was going to travel the world and see souls saved for Christ. That was it. I was a part of the Crusades, and I was birthed in that fire. That's all I wanted to do. You
Okay.
know?
The good
And,
Crusaders, not the Crusaders.
But we were talking, and there was another young lady that I guess kind of liked me at that time.
Okay.
And I didn't hear from God. I didn't even know her.
Yeah.
You know, she knew me, and we're going to talk about that infatuation.
Right.
She was struck with infatuation, you know,
Because she was admiring how you were
I guess she
dedicated
admired how
to
I
your
carried myself.
purpose and your
Exactly.
mission.
Yeah,
And she's
exactly.
like, man, I want some of that energy, whatever you got.
It wasn't me. That was the anointing. Should have waited a little longer to put that fish back in the water.
Fascination with the anointing. Wow. Okay.
Fascination
So-
with anointing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I remember asking him, "How do you know when it's the right one?" He said,
Right.
"For you, everything's going to fall apart." He says, "Excuse my words, all hell's going to break loose. You're going to lose everything. You're going to get sat down from your ministries. You're going to know because you're going to lose everything, and you're going to have to be willing to give up everything. And you'll know if you're willing to give up everything that that's the right one. That's the one God chose for you." And
Okay.
it kind of happened the same way he explained it. Not to mention, me and my my prideful self
Right.
had never knew how to date a woman as a man of God or any other man, as far as that's concerned.
Right.
But in my mind, I did.
Right.
And now I felt like I'm a good man.
Right.
So in my mind, I knew how dating should go. So I got ahead of how the process should go,
Okay.
and I got in a lot of trouble.
Right.
So it set us back, you know what I mean? But I don't think it set us back. I think God allowed us to go through a lot of things so that we could be here, but there's a way to do things and there's a way not to do things.
Hey.
Oh,
You know,
wow.
so that's going to be a part of the show. You know,
Okay.
even first of all, we just wanted to thank you for inviting us because we kind of jumped right into
We
it.
did.
Right.
I
Right.
really
No.
want to thank you for inviting us, and you blow me away with the introduction.
Right.
Because I'm thinking like, who's coming in? I thought, who's coming in? So, but when I think about it, it has been 30 years of ministry and marriage.
Right. Right.
And through that, we've learned quite a bit, not just on our own.
Right.
We've gone to marriage counseling, and
Right.
that led us to be a part of Family Life Christian Counseling
Right.
for the past 25 years.
Yeah.
Right. Right. Okay.
We go to marriage retreats still.
Every
Yeah.
And
year.
it's not about
Still.
and it's not about the marriage being jacked up. But the question is, and for those of you that's tuning in, the question you want to ask yourself is, why are you tuning in? And I hope that your answer will be to learn how to be 30 years married, 40 years married. I remember when we were at that place and we first went to our first retreat, I felt like a bum. I'm like, man, here you're this man of God and your marriage is jacked up and you can't do things right and all these things. And I remember God showed me something. We walked into a room, there were about 40 round tables, and there were people of all ages, and an icebreaker spoke to me. An icebreaker. We're going to do some icebreakers. An icebreaker. Georgia's like the queen of icebreakers. We're going to have some fun. And I remember the icebreaker was, in short, who's been married the longest? And there was a couple that won whatever the prize was that had been married like 50 plus years.
Wow.
And another couple that had just gotten married like 2 weeks ago. And then it hit me. It's not about how messed up you are. Is, do you want to be married and in love? 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. Maybe you're not even married. And maybe that's your intention. You're dating right now. I know you're in love, right? We'll talk about that. You're in love. But do you want to be? Where do you see this relationship going? And a lot of people don't look at that. We see it backwards sometimes. We see it from the outside looking in. And we're going to talk a little bit about that.
So, and on our caption, you'll notice that everything you'll see is celebrated, not tolerated.
Absolutely.
Or you'll see celebrated or tolerated. Which
Right.
one are you?
Right.
So
Right.
that's what we're going to be talking about today. That's going to be kind of leading into our icebreaker. But everyone that is watching, everyone that will watch, and everyone is just listening, nobody will ever say, if I say, which would you rather be, celebrated or tolerated? No one wants to be tolerated. Everyone wants to be celebrated and not tolerated. So that is our motto. We live by that, and it has really kept us. We didn't realize that that was our motto in life, but that's the thing that kept us through the hard times. So when he says our marriage was all jacked up, we had no communication skills. None. We thought we knew. I knew it. He knew it. I knew it better. He knew it twice as good.
And you already know where it goes from there. You know where it goes from there. Not just the place.
And we could definitely have, and for those of you who know me and have seen the podcast before, you know I'm a survivor. So the last thing in life that I'm ever going to accept is any type of feeling traumatized or in a victim situation. So it was never that. But you would be surprised at how a lack of communication can feel like you're closing in, the walls are closing in again, especially from those that you're supposed to be in love with. That's supposed to love you. You're supposed to feel celebrated, not tolerated.
Right.
So when I come into a room, we can be in a room and across the room, and we're in many rooms, and I see him. As a matter of fact, I see him walk in, and if I'm already there and I look and he's a tall one, he walks in, he does this thing. He lifts his head and gives me the like that.
Okay.
And he gives
the
me
nod. Okay.
And he gives you that. He gave
nod. Better get it down, man.
Yeah.
30 years, baby, under my belt.
All right.
He gives you that Mufasa thing. You go, woo. So
wow, that's amazing.
And you don't want to lose that. That makes you feel celebrated. It's not always. It doesn't have to be gifts or things that's always said. Sometimes those unspoken things are more gold than anything.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. That's right.
Now, wow, that's a great introduction of just kind of a brief snapshot of y'all beginning journey of y'all love story. Where you guys met at the gas station, you unusual act of kindness turned into a blessing to your life. So there's going to be people who are going to see, you still have that excitement and have fun together, know how to laugh and improve on that. Help you guys have good communication with each other. Yeah. Some people are going to watch and they're kind of desiring that. And they're in that dating stage. And I know you guys are going to talk about, you guys want to jump into what your plan is for the sessions that we're going to have, the series, or you want to talk about just some tips or advice in terms of preparing for marriage or dating?
I think we're going to do a lot of things in these next several sessions. All things planned, but you got to leave room for some spontaneity. Because I'm sure that once we get going, you guys are going to have questions. Yes. So I don't want to limit whatever those things are. And one of the things I want to make mention to you as well is maybe your questions are real sensitive. You can also ask those, I think, in a private kind of chat or something, or you can request an offline, and we can contact you and maybe we can talk. Maybe there's some things that you don't want to share online, so to speak, or you can trust to that. So feel safe that we're confidential with whatever the information is. And believe me, we want to see you guys make it. Yeah. We want to see you guys grow. Yeah. I'm telling you, I think that life has something exciting for every one of you that's tuning in. And I really believe that we may be able to help. So I like your header. I liked your header in the promotion. Yeah. Because you mentioned 3 specific things that stood out to me. Self-worth. Yes. You mentioned standards. Yes. And then you mentioned communication. Right. And so we're going to be covering some of those things. So I'll just give you one quick thing. When I think about self-worth, I think about one word, and this is the word. This is mainly for the daters. Infatuation. Because infatuation leads people to become something that they're not, become the expectation of the other person, the expectation of social media, the expectation of what we're wearing today, how the nails are, how our hair is, whatever it could be. And so when you meet somebody that you think, man, I've got to live up to, this girl is fine, or this man is fine, and you want to live up to that expectation, you get infatuated with how they dress, the way they wear their hair, the job that they have, or what they do, or the way she looks at you, or so forth and so on. And the problem that I have with infatuation is that it causes you to become someone else. And many times I don't think you even know it, or we even know that, because it always ends up coming to us like this. Your friends or your family members, what's the first thing they say? You acting funny. You ain't the same no more. You don't hang out with us no more. Man, I thought we was besties. You know, but it looked like you with them more than you with me, and what you changed, you know? And that's a way of them letting us know that you're changing. That infatuation has you, and maybe you don't understand what it is. Well, here's the problem with infatuation. What infatuation says is that you weren't really comfortable with yourself anyway. Self-worth, right?
Right.
Because my wife, it is and was who she is the day I met her. Superstar. She was doing big things way back then. I was doing something. I must have been doing something right, but it never bothered me. Her financials were way better than mine. Her setup was way better than mine, but that never bothered me, and it never bothered her. You know, and we never allowed it to, because it's kind of like, I love you for who you are, not for what you wear, not for what you have on, not for the status quo, not because I'm keeping up with the Joneses or anything else. And my success isn't measured by what's in my wallet.
That's right.
So wow. Because I am who I am.
That's right.
Y'all dropping some bars.
$1 million in my pocket, and those of you that know me know that I am who I am. I should do a Frank Sinatra. No, but self-worth, right? Infatuation can lead to so many things, but it depends on your self-worth.
And that's what.
Is it going to change you, or is it not going to change you?
I want to jump in right there where that's golden right there.
Yeah.
That was a nugget, everybody. Mine is going to be a little lighter, but it's exactly what he's talking about. For the lady, let me talk to you for a minute.
This is the overview.
This is just the overview. This is not the meat of it all. This is the appetizer. So this is just the breadstick. We ain't even got to the appetizers yet.
Okay.
But the breadstick's about to be cold. Ladies, don't let infatuation pull out or tear down your self-worth. You have to be celebrated and not tolerated. Now, I'm going to put you to the test. If you are out there and you breaking your neck and you got $20 in this hand and you got a $21 bill in this hand, but you just decide that because this man's so fine, I got to look good for him on this first date, then I'm going to go and get me some curly fries for my head. Don't do it. Let me tell you, I just want to give a shout out, a little interjection for the commercial. This is a Steph and Ty original.
All right.
Steph and Ty are world famous hat makers. They are now down in Mexico, but they used to hail from Detroit. And this is one of the last hats I bought. And I wanted to just send a shout out to them because they are a phenomenal couple.
Right.
And so I wanted to wear the hat in honor of them today. But I want to talk about those curly fries. If you don't know what a curly fry is, and ladies, hey, if the barn needs painted, paint the barn. If you need to do something different with your hair, do something different with your hair. But like he said, don't let it change you to the point where you're going to feel tore down if you can't keep up that facade. Be who you are. Dating ladies, that's who I'm talking to right now. when you're dating and you come out the gate not looking. Everybody says first impressions is the best impression. I beg to differ. You got, if you can be celebrated and not tolerated when you have to wear this hat, or you don't have the money to get that fly hairdo or get your nails done or anything like that, and that man still look at you like, then you know you celebrate.
Wow. I want to, man, you guys are dropping some bars. Wow. I want to acknowledge, we got some comments here. I wanted to, and this may be some of the viewers you may know.
Okay.
We have greetings from Arkansas, Kirby McDonald.
Oh.
Okay. 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 Yeah. All right. Sheila Wood, I'm now on because I'm sitting in my car. So somebody's watching from their car.
Okay.
So we want to acknowledge you. Thank you for tuning into the show.
Okay.
Oh yeah, we got Sierra Boone. All right, now I guess she was responding to your comments. So thank you, Sierra, for watching. I wish you good luck on your pitch on the Black Tech Saturdays.
All right.
And then we have oh yeah, someone just saying yes, past this.
Black Tech.
Sheila. All right. Now man, you guys dropped so much man, it's so many things you guys dropped because there's tension in the dating world. And I kind of want to go back. How do you know if you're infatuated or if you really have a genuine attraction? Because in the dating world, we have this thing of, high value person. Somebody has the salary, the cars, the height, the money. Are people just infatuated with the substance and not who the person is? And when you guys met, you said that her setup was
I was making 6 figures.
That's like almost, I mean, I don't know if you thought that's like a no-no. It's like people would drag you for like, and I don't even know did he have a car at the time you met him? Like that's like
he was walking.
I know that's like these are like, these women would say, oh, that's a red flag. But let's go infatuation and does character have currency? What?
Yeah,
I didn't like that. He said the character has currency.
Absolutely. So
yes. I love that. Write that down.
I think it takes time. I think that today, and many what we would call, I guess, a modernized dating system, it's too fast. Everything's too fast. Well, you got speed dating,
right?
And they do that thing in 30 seconds. You can have 30 dates.
Right.
So I think it takes time. I think infatuation or physical attraction or just attraction, chemistry, we vibing, whatever term you want to use, is a natural humanistic thing.
Right.
And when you're attracted to that other person, is a natural thing. But it kind of leads to the second thing that you mentioned, which is standards, because it goes back to accepting the person for who they are. Right. Yeah. So those things didn't connect us because neither of us were raised that way. We weren't raised to see that value, because that's not going to last long. If I wanted to be with her just for the sake of what she had, we would have never made it. And vice versa.
Right.
I think our passion for life and for helping people, there were a lot of other components there that drew us together. But in that dating spectrum, there had to be standards. There's standards.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think that I'll just give you one. The number one standard that brings success to any relationship or marriage, it's got to be trust.
Trust.
It's got to be trust.
Okay.
But don't get us wrong. We're talking about from the dating. So he said, does character have currency? I say yes. I want to ask all of the viewers right now. Put it in the chat or whatever if they can. Could you ask the viewers? That's a question we're going to pose to you. We're going to follow up on that too, because that's golden.
That is golden.
Does character have currency? Yes, it does.
Or just somebody's pocketbook.
Yes.
What they drive, where they live.
Exactly.
Or the status of their job.
Right. Which one is the most valuable one? Because we had a different financial status at the time, and we had different everything at the time, because I did see his character in the currency that it held. I had currency and I had misery. I had currency, but I had no peace. I had currency and I had no joy or no love. He didn't have currency and he had the joy. He didn't have currency, but he had that flair.
Wow.
He didn't have currency, but this man just walked 10 miles for on a mission. He was a man on a mission.
Wow.
And when I saw that, I didn't look at him in a lustful way. I saw something I hadn't seen probably ever.
Wow.
And I just wanted to, what is that?
Right.
That was that infatuation, but it's actually after that, how do we act on that infatuation?
Mm-hmm.
We all gonna get infatuated because, like
So you mean to tell me his height didn't? I know you saw him walking.
Oh, he was fine. He had a big old head of hair. The man was fine. He is fine now. He is
right.
Age graceful. He had a head full. We're gonna show you.
But you,
our old picture.
I think you kind of indirectly explained the difference between a real attraction and infatuation.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you saw his outer appearance, but what stood out to you was that he was willing to walk these miles to a cause.
Yeah.
And you saw his character, and you saw that was something you can build upon.
Yes.
Why do you think people are so caught up in, hey, this person has to make 6 figures, he has to pay all the bills, he has to do that? I mean, I'm not saying that that's not important, but why have we veered off where that's important, where these attributes of materialism is more important than actual, is a person trustworthy? Is he honest?
Well,
is he a person of his? He or she a person
I'll
of his
let
word?
him answer.
Yeah, I think there's more than one component as to the reason why we see that more and more. I believe it's been around. It was there before, but I think we may be seeing that the escalation because of social media.
Mm-hmm.
Because generations are going by, and unfortunately, some of those things that may have been passed down to us got watered down to the next generation, mm-hmm. and so forth and so on. Maybe not even taught at all.
Mm-hmm.
Christian values. People
right.
haven't even eat dinner together, let alone, get to that. So I think that those things all play a part. I think those things all play a part. And I don't want to get ahead of ourselves because everything that we talk about, character, all those things, we're going to keep going over the same thing, but in different ways as we go along.
We do have there is a quick question. I want to share that from, looks like Brittany. What about having different opinions that turn into debate? I'm not sure.
Having a difference of opinions that turn into debates,
–
that's going to happen. One of the things that we learned early on when we were having communication issues,
mm-hmm.
when we went to Family Life, the first thing they taught us, shout out to Harry Krusky, first thing that he taught us was a little tile. And for those of you who follow this journey with us, you're going to get your own tile for yourselves at the end of this journey. We're going to make sure that you have a specialized tile from us, from Celebrated, Not Tolerated, from the Coles. But he gave us his tile, like a floor tile, but it was just like this size.
Yeah.
And he said, okay, you hold it. And he gave it to me.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, when you have a towel, you talk, you communicate. Mm-hmm. But your job, Gene, is to listen, not just let her talk and can't wait. Because sometimes we're talking or we're supposed to be listening to someone, but really we're waiting to answer. We're really not listening. Mm-hmm. We're waiting just to give our answer to what they said or to attack it in some sort of way. So being able to communicate with that towel, learning how to truly listen, that changed our trajectory tremendously. We were able to build a friendship then. This is my best friend. Yeah. My sister is my best friend, like, but this man is my best friend. No one can make me laugh like him, and no one can make me cry like him. And he is, we learned that just being able to give space and take space with each other. But it was one thing you said, I want to just say lastly, also, when you said, why is it changed about the money and why people are looking at that as your value?
Right.
If you, and I could just say to the ladies, if the man, if you love him 90%, or if you show him that love in your relationship, he will make sure that everything else is got for you. He will cut off his arm for you. If a man feels that respect and that love from you, then if he has nothing, he'll build something. If he has the right woman helping build with him. And what you're building is you're building him, and then he'll build the house. But you got to be that type of woman where you can help build him, and then he'll have what I mean. He has never to have to been a carpenter or anything, but metaphorically and physically speaking, there's nothing he won't do, and it'll come to him, especially if he's a man after God's own heart.
And then to answer the question, I think Brittany asked about debate.
Difference of opinion.
You come to a place where you learn to how to agree to disagree, and that's all a part of that communication, effective communication. One of the things about communication is not so much of how I speak, but how I understand what the other person is saying, or how they feel. That's effective communication, because I can talk you up one side and down the other. I do it for a living, but has nothing to do with you when I'm doing that.
Right. Okay.
And the relationship, I have to know what she's saying, why she's saying it, how she's thinking, where is she coming from?
Right. Because
we're two totally different people. I'm a lion. I want to take control.
Right. Right.
I just feel like everything, the world, you all would be much better if you just let me run your life. Let me run. It would have been over a long time ago, I promise.
Wow.
No, but she's just the opposite.
Yes.
George is open. She's you know what I mean? She's a people person, but she's a quiet person. She doesn't want to rah.
Right.
Although her character is strong.
Yes.
You know, but she just rather be understood.
Yes.
See, a strong character that wants to be understood makes for some, I think Brittany called it good debates. I'll call it some good fights, arguments. You know, some good downright, I don't even want to be in the same room with you tonight.
Right.
Let's keep it real. Right. But when we begin to learn who each other are and how to respect that, man, it makes a world of difference.
Wow.
It makes a world of difference.
Whole world of difference.
And I'll leave you with this, because I know we're running out of time. I'll leave you with this. I promise you this. There's a scripture in the Bible that says, redeem the time, for the days are evil. How do you redeem time once today's gone? You can't get it back.
Right, right.
It's 7:45. When 8 o'clock comes, I can't go back 15 minutes. Well, I'm going to help you redeem some time. It took me, or it took us, I don't know, 15, 20 years. Maybe I think we're still learning though. I don't think you ever stop learning, right? Marriage is work. Building relationships take work, right? Love is love, but building relationships take work. It took us a long time to get to this place. I'm going to help save you guys some time. Help save you some time from those debates and those arguments and those indifferences that would otherwise tear you guys apart. And see if we can put the love together a lot quicker. Get it going right from the start. Remember, one can put 1,000 to flight, but two, tens of thousands.
Wow.
We're stronger together. We're better together. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Peace.
And I just want to say, he said something. He said, sometimes you feel like I don't even want to be in the room with you. Whatever you do, Bible says, don't let the sun go down on your wrath. So what that means is, for you, those of you that are married, I don't care how mad he or she gets, how mad either of you get, how much debate and arguments, go to your corners, go to the kitchen, cook something, clean something. I clean up. I think he made me mad on purpose. I did the cleaning, scrubbing. I clean up the whole house. I changed everything around. He come this whole new season.
Right.
But at the end of the day, you go to bed. I don't care if you're on the edge of the bed, but you in the same bed together. And if you try to be mad and make your feet real cold and put them on him, but you stay in that bed because that's your bed. That's your husband. That's your wife.
That's right.
And you never let anything, no man or nothing put it asunder. That's what we married to. And no matter what, you don't have to like it, but you still gotta love it.
That's right. And remember, those other things come out of a prideful heart.
Yes.
Out of pride and anger.
Yeah.
Humility, that's the key.
Yeah.
Humility, 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 humility.
Yes.
That's the key. It wins every time.
Yeah. Because love is patient and love is kind.
That's right.
All right. Wow. Okay, so we're gonna before we wrap things up, I kind of want to go back because this beginning story I find quite intriguing. Because when you guys met, he was walking, and I mean, I don't know if you had a vehicle or not. The reason why I'm asking that is that when you hear, and I'm not sure if this is impacted with social media or um, these different Facebook or TikTok. But some men may, if they don't have the means, they may feel intimidated to start something. What was it when you felt this was the person, and what was it in your spirit or in your personhood that made you go forward? Because some people are like, I need to have my ducks in a row. I need to have this. I need to make this. It seems like you guys had a different journey, and maybe that can be encouragement for people who are dating, who are trying to match up, and they may feel inadequate because they don't have the outside trappings.
Right. Well, for me, I think I was kind of like, jackpot.
Oh my goodness.
No, I couldn't help it. I'm sorry.
No, you good. You good. Jackpot. I like that.
No, other than jackpot,
He missed his calling. This guy is the funniest guy. I'm telling you, you have no idea. Man, if you make your wife, your woman, if you make that woman laugh, you got her. Have you ever wondered why some of the ugliest guys get the bomb, like bad women? You like, how did he get her? He made her laugh. Make her laugh, and you in there for life. This man makes me laugh, and he fine.
I ain't that good looking, but I am funny. When I need to be funny. No. Honestly, like for me, I think it was just upbringing. I think it was upbringing. I grew up as a single kid. My dad was in the military. He had been drafted to Vietnam. Never saw him again until I was about 20. But I had a strong mother. I had a mother that was a soldier. And the things that she instilled in me as a kid, as far as nationality and creed, I mean, I couldn't even go out of my house to go to school unless I recited "Lift Every Voice and Sing." I had to do them all. Star Spangled Banner, I had to know them all. I had to recite my nationality, my creed, where I came from, all these different things, and it was a daily routine. How to treat women, how to respect people. And I think it gave me, I guess, an eye for people. So when I met Georgia, I didn't really see her like that. You know what I mean? It was what it was. And the thing of it is that I wasn't an individual that never had anything before.
Right.
That was one of the things I learned early on. It's like, especially from my grandmother, was don't run around here acting like you ain't never had nothing before. So I took that seriously, and everywhere I went, everywhere I had the opportunity, the people I had opportunities to be around, I had to learn how to act. Because I'm like, I can't be running around acting like I'm starving all the time. I see this woman, I'm starving. I need a ride, But I think it gave me a different outlook, a different perspective, and a different level of respect for women, period. And so when I met Georgia, during that time, I was on a mission. I needed to get to that mall. I wasn't thinking about her a bit more than a man on the moon at the time. I really wasn't. Right. She was a ride, and an opportunity for me to be a witness. And that witness led to her coming back to the Lord.
My mom, my sister, both my brothers, and my entire family got saved because he came into my life and my well when I needed it the most.
Focus.
And led me back to the Lord. He didn't come, and he never asked for my number. I was a ticket sale, basically. he saw the car and he was like, they're on a mission. They're going to take these kids out of the projects and help get them saved and do this crusade and take them to the drama at the end of the thing. But the thing that really stood out, like he said, even though he didn't have the net worth,
right?
Man, he had the net worth because he walked. If I didn't see him walk in, oh, brother walked in like he owned the world.
Wow.
He walked tall. Someone else told me today, my Rotarian president, shout out to Renee. She said, when Eugene walks in a room, he walks in tall. His head is held high. She said, it's not a pride. She said, it's a dignity. I said, that's right. That's who he is. Because that single mom and all of her struggles and his grandmother working, cleaning houses and just coming out the cotton fields and all of that kind of stuff back in those days, they taught him how to be a man that knew he still had value and it wasn't in his pocket. So, man, you got value. You just got to figure it out that you have value. Stop worrying about what's in your pocket. And
that's not what makes
a man.
That's right.
Wow. We're gonna wrap things up real quick. We're gonna take a quick commercial break. Come back. I like what you said about helping people save time because of your experience. We're gonna come back, give some basic tips on dating that you think will be good, and then talk about just what we can look forward to in the series. And that will conclude our session today. So let me take a quick. Let me take a quick break. We'll be right back. Thank you for those who are watching. And if you find value in what we're doing, please like, subscribe, share, show the internet algorithms, whether it's YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, that positive content, helpful content is desired too. We're not just here spilling the tea and shaming people and nothing against those kind of content creators, but also show that hey, there's room for positive, uplifting content. We'll be right back. Hey, Detroit. Are you a Detroit area small business owner, entrepreneur, leader of a nonprofit organization, or a business service provider? And are you looking for ways to share your product, service, or your programs with a local Detroit audience? Let us help you increase your reach by becoming an ad sponsor with the Detroit Metro Plug podcast powered by Empower You Ventures. Our weekly video podcast is a growing local feature on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn that focuses on local business and community news. This gives you a chance to connect with local Detroit customers or clients. We offer cost-effective ads to fit your needs. Click the link to learn more about our current ad specials. And remember, connections matter. This is Charlie the Plug with the Detroit Metro Plug podcast.
Black Leaders Detroit, they knew that during the pandemic, that Black businesses were going to be left out of any type of funding that the government gave, and they wanted to make sure that they were able to figure out how they could step up and help, because again, this is their community, and they want to make sure that their community is still here when this pandemic is over with. And the only way you can do that is by offering support to your community, and so they stepped up and they did that.
I've been telling everyone I know about Black Leaders Detroit. The things that they're doing is simply amazing. And they're taking care of business for the Black business owners.
It's $1 a week donation to keep this great thing moving. $1 a week keeps it popping. Black Leaders Detroit.
All right, so we're back. Thank you for those who are joining us. And if you're just joining us or join us midway through, we have a special guest. We're doing a series, a once-a-month series, talking about dating and marriage, and just some keys to how do you not just survive in dating and marriage, but thrive. And our guests, they're pastors, keynote speakers, servant leaders, outreach specialists, and over 30 years of marriage and ministry. And they were sharing the backstory, how they met, and we've been talking about just that whole dating phase. And I like what Eugene shared about just the principle of redeeming the time, and how through their experience they're going to help us viewers how to redeem our times based on their wisdom of some things. And I think what I've got, and I've been writing notes as you guys are talking. You probably didn't realize that. What I've gotten out of so far is that the importance of not just looking at how much someone makes, what they drive, how tall they are. And I know these things you got to be attracted, and these things are are important. But the main thing is look at a person's character. I guess when you saw him on a mission, he had a purpose in life. When he was walking,
Yeah.
He was a problem solver. He was trying to find ways to get to his destination.
Yes.
He was resilient,
Yes.
where he was determined. And if people have those trustworthy character, it sounds like those are things you can build off, and maybe the wealth or whatever can come later.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to transition as we wrap up today. Any tips in terms of, I don't know if you are aware of seeing what's going on in the whole modern dating world, where people are kind of trying to find love, praying for their husband or their spouse or whatever. Any tips you would give? And then after you do that, if you can share kind of what we're going to cover in the months ahead.
Well, you know what, real quick, before we start with the tips, I just wanted to make mention too, because I don't want people to feel left out. Maybe both parties of the relationship came with loaded. Everything is in place. Everything's there. He's got his, she's got hers. These principles are still important. They still matter, because those things make up the outside, but it doesn't replace the process that takes place on the inside, that needs to happen on the inside. So this is for you as well. I don't want you to feel left out. As far as what tips we'll leave you with today, well, we talked about self-worth, and I think the tip that I would leave you with is know your value. Know your value going in. This way you go in 100% you.
Mm-hmm.
You're not trying to keep up with the Joneses. You're not, because that's setting yourself up for a letdown, because eventually you realize that the person you're trying to please, maybe they were keeping up with the Joneses too. Maybe you get to a place
Who is the Joneses, by the way?
Everybody trying to keep up with them for years, but and vice versa. But I believe it's a setup for letdown. It really is a setup for letdown. And then, Georgia, what would you say?
I would say definitely intimacy, not infatuation.
Yeah, that's it.
You have to have intimacy, not infatuation. Whether if you're dating, you need to formulate and build on the intimacy that is there when you first begin to talk to each other. And don't take that out of context, because I'm certain you're not talking about anything physical. When you're meeting someone, you're dating, you need to be able to have a conversation with them. Because God forbid, you can have all the money in the world. They can wine you and dine you, you dine them and wine them. But if you can't have a conversation is what makes people intimate. That's why people find themselves in outside relationships, outside of their marriages, or cheaters or whatever. You ask yourself why. And you say, I look better than her, or I look better than him. It's nothing to do with that. It's intimacy, because they're on that job and they're talking. He's talking to Silly Sally now. Silly Sally, listen, she like, oh yeah, can I get you a cup of coffee? And then you're at home. He said, can you put the water on for the coffee? No, I ain't making no coffee. I got to get ready for work. You chop the brother up. He asked for a cup of coffee. It's an intimacy. You have to serve each other that intimacy. So serve up some intimacy, not infatuation. Because infatuation says, I just want to look at outside and, con esto, papá. But no, intimacy. Have a conversation. Laugh with them. Cry with them. If I can laugh with him and I can cry with him, then that's half the battle. That's the intimate conversation. If I can tell him my worst fears and my worst, and my weaknesses, and bare my soul and know that I can trust him, like he said, and he can trust me, and that is an intimate relationship.
And that was the next thing, right? Standards, trust. Character builds trust.
Yes.
Talk about character having currency. One of the things that character builds is trust, right? Which is key. Without that, it's not gonna make it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not gonna last long. You know, because then we're just living off of a lie.
Mm-hmm.
Just waiting for it to explode. We're just living off of a lie. It's not good. And last but not least, get to know who the other person is, because that's the communication. I remember a man told me a long, long time ago. His name was Wayne Brooks, and he was a mentor of mine years and years ago. And he told me, he says, it's not so much that you be heard, but it's that you hear. It's not so much that you be understood, but the greater thing is that you understand. See? And if I could give you something to read, Celebration of Discipline. Because that's what that builds. That builds that type of behavior that says I can sit, I can listen, and not just hear you, but listen with understanding of what you're saying, where you're coming from, why you're saying it. Because then my response may be different than, you know, I may hear it a little bit different if I look at it from that perspective and not pop off or not yell back. But maybe I'll take a minute to understand what we're saying. It could change everything.
Yeah.
Yep. That's how you redeem time. But listen, we're going to get into a lot of fun stuff.
Yeah.
We've got some stuff planned for you. Georgia, you can tell them a little bit about what.
Yes, tell us what we're going to be covering.
Topics, couple of
Oh,
topics.
yeah. So we're going to come in. We're coming in hot.
It's
It's gonna get hot. So, you know, you might come in, have, you know, your iced tea there ready. And we're gonna do icebreakers. We're gonna have some time where you're crying over there. We're gonna have a lot of times where you're laughing. We're gonna talk about everything from the rooter to the tooter, like my grandmama used to say. We're gonna talk about it, and we're open here to be able to answer your questions about it. We're opening ourselves up because we want you to make it. If you haven't even began to get into it and you're scared, like he said, and you're just trying to find someone and you want to find the right one, you're tired of the dating thing, this is for you. If you are that person, you knew you're 1 to 5 years, it's for you. 5 to 50, it's for you. So come back on the next one because you will not be disappointed. We're going to go from dating to dancing.
And before we go, got to give you a little bit of homework. Somewhere doing tonight, want you as a couple to come together and just ask one another a simple question, and take time to ask and take time to listen to one another and ask them, how is my communication with you? How is my value to you or towards you? Or should I say, and towards you?
Yes.
And
then the second part of that homework is ask each other, get with each other. If you already are in a relationship, make sure you pray together. Whatever your faith is, we're Christians, and we're unashamedly Christians, and we pray together. A family that prays together stays together. If you're single, you get together, have your time of prayer and meditation, and really get along and just be at peace with yourself to be able to, you know, ask yourself those hard questions. Why am I alone? But I know I don't want to be, you know. And we're going to give you some books on the next one to read too. He gave you one, and then soon, before this is all over, we'll have a very special book for you to read.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. So we're excited about this series. We're going to do it once a month. So that means the next one will be in January. We'll announce the date. February and March. And February is Valentine's. So we're going to have something special for that. So, and we'll have in our show notes, we'll have ways you can contact our guests. And so I don't know if you're ready to get that email out, or we can put it in the show notes for later for people who will watch the replay.
Yeah, you can put the email in for now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What did you want to share live, or is it ready? I'm not.
No, we'll share it when you.
Okay. And then in the meantime, you can submit a question at hello@empoweryouVentures.com. Hello@empoweryou, like spelled YOU, empower YOU Ventures with the S.com. It'll be in the show notes. If you have questions about dating, marriage, you're planning to get married, have some questions or concerns, looking for resources. Maybe you are married and you feel that there's some challenges. Maybe you got the 7-year itch. You're thinking about divorce. I've been divorced 2 times, and I don't wish that on no one. And that's why I'm here trying to take learns to learn, because I haven't been my best version of myself, and I'm here to grow. Because I have a Baptist background, I would try it again.
That's
I guess,
good.
you know.
And we're going to talk about blended families
Yes.
and all of that and broken.
3 times.
Yes.
Because
Yes, we're
you know,
gonna
I'm
talk
Baptist.
about
I believe
all
in the
that.
Trinity. So.
Yes.
But yes, but yeah, I just want to encourage you if you have questions or comments, please put comments, and we want to show the algorithm that, hey, this kind of content is valuable. So like, share, subscribe. We're excited for our guests in this series we're going to have, and I believe this is going to bless the community. And please, if you're finding value, please share it. Say, hey, you got to check out Eugene and Georgea Cole. They are passionate, in love with each other. They have wisdom, and they're not perfect, but they're going to share the things they did right, the things they have to work on, and things they messed up and recovered from. And so we're excited about that. So I just want to thank you guys for being on this first session. Looking forward to
thank you so much.
helping us create this positive content. Really appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Any parting words before we close out tonight?
Well, remember, you don't have to feel weird about showing up or asking a question. Our goal, and this is from our hearts, we want to see you guys blessed. We really do. We want to see your families blessed. We want to see you guys blessed. And we'll share, like we bear all. Yeah. We'll be transparent. Yeah. Because that's the only thing that's going to help you. Yeah. You know, other people's transparency, not I can't afford to walk around and make it look like. We don't have time for that, you know.
It's not a show. Yeah. And at the end of the day, we want to make sure that you are celebrated, not tolerated.
All right.
Good night.
Celebrated, not tolerated. So stay tuned. We got some other podcast interviews coming up on Mondays, but looking forward to this series once a month. We're going to announce the dates. We're going to share with everyone. And this is just the beginning. I'm excited for the impact. So we'll see you guys next time. Have a great week. And got another show coming up Friday, special guest. We got some coming up Monday. So some exciting content about positivity, sharing just positive contributions to our city, difference makers in Detroit doing great things. So we'll see you next week. Hey, everyone. This is Charlie the Plug, your host of the Detroit Metro Plug podcast, powered by Empower You Ventures. Don't forget to subscribe so you too can be a part of the biggest empowerment network on YouTube and Facebook. We bring you weekly interviews of Detroit difference makers in the area of entrepreneurship, community involvement, also reaction to business news and community news. This does not happen without your support. Thank you.